on with him, and then, or her, as the case may be, it depends. And then it will be easy for you to get, it will be easy for you to get what it is that he actually wants, or she actually wants you to do. So nobody is actually resistant, but it's all about being inflexible in communicating. So it's important for us to remember that certain phrases and words create resistance and problems. And that's why it says you need to align yourself to what the person is saying or what the person is thinking. Because there's some words you use and people will quickly jump at it and say, no, it ought not to be this way. No, like during the course of this riot as well, this protest actually has turned into riots. Because of the protests, people were saying, end this, end that, end police brutality. They are not saying that they don't want police any longer. It's not possible to live in a society without the police. But that the police would take laws into their hands. So people misinterpreted those words. End policemen. One of my friends who is in the force told me that they say end policemen. I said, no, they didn't say end policemen. They said end police brutality. So people, those words like end police, if you didn't hear it once, okay, he's already made up his mind. That's where resistance comes from. Because that's a word, as somebody in the force, is a word that you didn't find fun at all when they say end police brutality. All right, so there are certain words that we need to avoid if we want to create rapport, if we want to create harmony amongst people who are with us. Those words are the words that bring about resistance. Now, somebody asks you, do you love me? Say, yeah, I love you, but that but is what will bring resistance. But what? If you love me, but what? What are you keeping away from me? Or what am I keeping away from you? So that word but is what will make the difference. It is what will make the person feel, okay, well, it is not 100% love. Or there's something more you expect before you can say, okay, I love you. So instead of creating that resistance, you can just go ahead, replace the word but with something like an and. Oh, I love you. I know I cannot do without you, and we need to make it work. Something like that. Give the person impression that okay, you're flowing along. Anytime you use the word but, you are bringing in some form of resistance on the other side. Even if what you're saying is true, even if what you want to say is true, but as long as the word but has come in, you are creating resistance. So instead of creating resistance, you can actually create agreement. And that's what the author went on to say, that you can use agreement to get somebody to listen to you or to dance to your step. Agree with the person. That's what they call agreement frame. It may not be okay. You may not like it, but you need that person. You need to work with that person or whatever it is that you're doing together. If there's a business person with you, you need to do business with him. If it's a colleague you're working together, you need to work together. You need to understand yourself. So there's to overcome this, you need to build harmony. And in building harmony, you need to employ what is called the agreement frame. And that agreement frame allows you to communicate exactly how you feel about an issue without compromising your integrity in any way. And it makes it so that you never have to disagree with anyone at all. Okay? And it's listed in the chapter. It says, for instance, those words that you can use, like I appreciate, and that's a word, that's a phrase you can use. when you're talking with somebody. I appreciate, and in fact, I know that you're doing, something that will go along that way. Like we said earlier, I love you, and I know that you are the one for me, or something like that. Another phrase you can use like, I respect you and your opinions. That's another word you can use. I have someone, I have somebody who, whenever he speaks to me, we're sharing an idea. I mean, I give my opinion. He said, sir, I obey, I completely agree with you 100%. But it doesn't put but. I completely agree with you 100%. And I think that we can also go about it this way. You see, he has agreed with my opinion, but he has his own idea of how we can better that opinion. It may not be superior argument, but he has an idea. And he communicates that idea in a very respectful manner. So that I do not take any offense. That is the way to build harmony. That's the way to create rapport. But if you go to say, I agree with you, yes, but that word will bring the person you're talking to think, okay, maybe he knows better than I do, or he thinks I don't know anything and stuff like that. That will bring resistance. So I appreciate those are the phrases that one can use in discussions. I appreciate and I respect and I agree and I love, and those are the phrases we can use in describing, in overcoming, or in fact, in ensuring that resistance does not even occur. If you check, all good communicators have a way of communicating in such a way that you don't, you cannot say no. I have someone like that. You can't say no to him when he makes a request because he brings his request in such a way that he leaves you without a choice. He will cover every other angle and then gives before he drops his request. You find that every other angle has been covered and there's no escape routes. So you simply have to get to do whatever it is he wants you to do for him. So it's important that we learn that. You may not have to agree, like I said earlier, with what the content of what he's saying, no. But you appreciate that he's a reasoning person. You appreciate that he's a critically thinking person. And that's why you use the word I appreciate. But when you treat him like he doesn't know anything, then that's when you now dig in, dig in. Say, well, come and uproot me and let's see. So it's important that we implement the agreement frame. If you're building harmony, if you're creating rapport with people, it's important that you look at this agreement frame and find a way to use it as often as you can. It will help you to get whatever it is you're asking for anybody. It's very important. You don't have to agree with what the person has said or the content of, even if you have superior opinion, superior argument, you can present it without being disagreeable. You can present your superior argument without making the other person feel uncomfortable. Like I said, that young man that I used to talk with, he said, yes, sir, I agree with you. And I think we can also go ahead like this. Because he has said yes, he differs to me with respect to my own opinion. But he has also an opinion that he wants me to consider. Not most of the time, I also consider his opinion. I married it too, mine and his. I will make progress. So if you use the agreement frame, you find yourself listening more intently to what the other person has to say. The challenge you also have in communication, most of us just want to talk. Most of us just want to express ourselves. We don't give time for the other person to listen to the other person. And I tell you that there is joy in listening to people. I found myself most of the time listening to people. I may have an opinion, but I want to hear what every other person is saying. I've led associations in this country. I've led associations in this country. I've sat down in meetings where I was chairing. I will introduce the topic and I'll allow people to say something. I don't give an opinion until I've sampled the opinion of people on the floor. And it helped me a great deal in the years I was in active service. But if you are to give you chose a topic and you quickly give an opinion, then you have put people into how do I put it now, to the background. They'll become opposition. And that's what I've noticed when you're serving people. If you voice an idea of what you want, that is what they're going to attack. And they'll make sure you don't get it. But if you leave it laid by, leave it flowing or floating within the hall, the meeting venue, at the end, you get what you want, but it wouldn't come from you. Somebody will suggest it along the course of the discussions. So that is what agreement frame is about. What it is that you want to do, and you want to communicate to the person, communicate in such a way that he doesn't feel aggrieved, he doesn't feel uncomfortable, he doesn't feel like you're calling him a dunce, he doesn't know anything. So it is important that you listen. When people are talking with you, listen intently. The way to even bring out more information from them, keep asking questions. Like we discussed, remember what we're talking about meta programs, we're talking about modeling people, about physiology, about kinesthetics. You keep asking questions because that is what will elicit the answers that you want. There's no way you can get all the answers you want just with one question. You will have to keep asking, as 12 questions as answers are, because for each answer somebody gives, a question can be made from that answer. So it's important. So one way to find to solve problems is to redefine them in a way to agree rather than to disagree. Another way is to break the thinking pattern. I've talked about the first one is the agreement frame. You agree with the person in what he or she has said, but you have a superior opinion and you present it with an and, not a but. Because when you present with a but, you create resistance. This second one is for you to be able to break patterns. And confusion is one of the greatest ways to interrupt patterns. It's there in the chapter. I'm sure you read it. If you want to interrupt patterns, you bring in confusion into the discussion. How do you introduce confusion? Somebody is talking about Z, and then you come and disabuse his mind and say, let's talk about A. You have destabilized him. He's confused already because his pattern of thought has been destabilized by your introduction of a completely different topic from what you guys were previously discussing, of which he was having some rigid position. That's the way to also break resistance. When you break the pattern of flow or the pattern of thought of the person you're discussing with. So pattern breaking is one of the ways to also overcome resistance when you're dealing with people. And it's important that you understand it. It's important too that you know that when you build agreements, when you implore or use, when you employ or use the agreement frame in discussions with people, you are likely to get them to do what you want to do, what you want them to do for you. I want you to bear that in mind. If you're a worker and you have a head of department or you have a boss, working privately or public in a public institution, you can employ agreement frame in discussing and asking for favors from those ahead of you. That's helped a lot of people. It will also help you. This chapter has helped a lot of people. People have given testimonies of how they got favors from even their very rigid and autocratic bosses. How they got favors because they decided to employ the agreement frame in conversation, in their discussion with the boss. I agree with you, sir. In fact, this is one of the best, I'm just using a phrase. That is one of the best opinions I've heard about this. And I think that's where you're making that man feel on top of the world. And you know, men, we're all egotistic people. We want, when our ego is massaged, what we call positive psychology or reverse psychology, when our ego is massaged, we'll do anything. That's why ladies take advantage of men. Anyway, that's not the topic for this discussion. I'm sure we'll get there sometime. Okay. So it's important. Those two things are very important, which I've garnered from the chapter. To break the pattern of thought by bringing confusion and to employ the agreement frame. Now that pattern is also not only about the people we're talking about. It's also about us. It's also about us. Because if you remember what we discussed is about meta programming, it is what you keep repeating to yourself, either by the ways you say, the what you say, or what you think, or what you do. That is what builds into your subconscious as a program. And if you must change it, you have to deprogram your subconscious. You must literally remove that program physically. Well, when I say physical, I mean, literally remove it and then install a new one. And that's what that if you practice some habit for at least 21 days, it will be able to get installed into your subconscious. So the thinking pattern is the same thing. You remember when we read that semantic it is the same thing. Whatever it is you think every time, whatever you hold dear to your mind, that is what you usually attracts. And it is real. It's not for jokes. People are attracting poverty, people are attracting riches. If you must be rich, you have to remove that poverty thinking from your mind. It is your subconscious. You have to do a deprogramming and then a reprogramming. I'm sure we'll discuss that sometime. It's important that you understand it. And it is possible, it is doable. But the man who believes nothing shall be impossible. That is what the scriptures say. So if we do something repeatedly that limits us, we are just running a terrible pattern over and over again. This is an addition. Because we can also run those patterns on ourselves. If you are doing something, like we said yesterday, and it's not paying you, and you keep doing it, you're just punishing yourself. You're just creating frustration. And by the time frustration builds up, hypertension will come, stress will come. But when you are doing something and you're happy doing it, of course, somebody says that a job that he enjoys is not a job, it is his passion. That when he's working his passion, he's not doing any job because he loves what he's doing. It's only when you're working at a job that you hate to love or you love to hate. That is where you may say you're working on a job. Either because you don't like the conditions of service, or you don't like the environment, or you don't like the people you're working with, or you don't like the man at the head. Employees have one reason or the other to hate the boss. Because the boss will never understand why you cannot come to work early. It doesn't matter where you're living. He can never understand why you have to come and be sleeping in the morning hours. He doesn't know what to pass through in the night. He will never understand. That is why he's the boss. That is why he's to drive you, to enable you to be a productive employee. So if there's a terrible pattern you're running in your system that is not helping you can interrupt that pattern. You can create confusion in your midst and remove that pattern and install a new one. All right. So for me, these are the take-home tips from chapter 15 that we have read. All right. So I want to welcome all of you again, and then to ask if anybody has any additions to make, any questions to ask, any contributions, any experience you want to share, would like to share that, please use the live chat and type in what it is. I can take it from there. Thank you so much again for being here. We still have time, so let's quickly do this one. All right. So somebody still here who has not identified himself. I don't know who, but at least I'm still seeing Oludare and Chukwebuka Asadu. So can we get some contributions from your end? What did you make out of the chapter 15? Is it how are you going to implement chapter 15 in your daily activity, particularly this agreement frame? How are you going to implement it to be able to get what you want? Even if you're selling some, like we said this again, if you present a wrong meta program to somebody who wants to buy from you, of course the person will not buy. Okay, somebody comes to like a Asadu that's into renewable energy, and somebody wants to buy a solar panel or something, and wants you to tell him what it does, and you're like, "Oh, haven't you heard about solar panel? Is this your first time?" Of course, that person will not buy from you again. You get angry, you will leave. But if you go out of it, okay, solar panel, well, this, well, that, well, it's a way of saving electricity, saving energy, it's a way of saving costs and all that. You explain in details what it is that solar panel does. That person will be impressed and he'll want to buy from you. All right, so I'm waiting for your comments on the chat box so that we can take them. Then we can call it an evening eventually. Yes, who is there? Say something. I'm waiting for your comments. Let me know what you make of the chapter 15 and what your own take home from there is. And if you have any questions, if you want any to break down something for any explanations, let us know. All right. I'm waiting here at my end. Somebody is fighting with their network, coming in and going out. Yes, I'm waiting. Exactly. Yes, Dr. Ludare, yes. A man's choice of words, of course, will determine what he gets out of interacting with others. Yes, that's what you just said there now. Because you can choose some words that will create resistance immediately, no matter who the person is. You just enter the opposition mode, and that is it. And when the man enters opposition mode, you have to work extra hard to bring him from that mode. So choice of words is very important. We must choose words that apply to the situation we find ourselves. For instance, this morning, of course, you cannot go to a morning house and you're talking about dancing disco or talking about going binge drinking on in a morning house. When you go to a morning house, of course, you have to mourn with the mourners. Okay, that's what we're taught. Okay, yes, Asadu. Yes, it's all about building harmony, creating rapport with people, because in this life, what you need, like we're told in the science of getting rich, what you need to get rich is in the hands of other people. It's in the hands of other people. So your ability to attract what you want to get, what you need to get rich, will depend on your ability to talk to people, to create harmony between you and them, to rapport with them, so they can give you that which you need to become wealthy. Okay, so those are very popular comments made by Oludare. Who is that person here? Somebody is still on. I cannot know that person. This is not it's not a video call. This is a live presentation. Both on Facebook and YouTube. when you do live presentation, you are just discussing from here, and then the people out there, they are watching you, they are seeing you, but you cannot see them. Okay, I'm sure you're seeing me, you're hearing me, but I can't see anybody except if you do a chat. Yes, as I do. Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. That's you're just confirming, agreeing with what Umidari said. That what we say to people determine how they respond to us. Yes. So when you employ the agreement frame, then it's possible that you always win. You always be a winner. But if you go to use BUT, when someone spoken to you and you use a BUT on the person, you are creating resistance. And that is not the way to go. All right. You can also do pattern interruption, like I said earlier. Pattern interruption means that you are introducing confusion. Like we said, you are discussing something with somebody, and you have seen that he's deviating or he's tending to be static, tending to be rigid. You just throw something in the middle of it to cause confusion. The man will simply go back and you have changed the course of the discussion. And of course, pattern interruption is also applicable to us as persons. If you're running a terrible pattern in your life nothing is working, I mean, you're not enjoying this life, which you're supposed to be doing. I mean, nobody there's a life has no duplicate, and there's no second coming. Even though there's no second coming here. People believe in reincarnation, but I'm sure I don't know about that. But there's no second coming. Even if there's a reincarnation, there's no way we can know if you came here before. I don't know about that, but this is the only life we have, and we're supposed to live it and enjoy it. Sorry, sorry. Supposed to live it and enjoy it. So let's do the most we can to be in good terms with people, even if we don't like them. But if we did something, if they're in a path to wealth or a path to progress, and we need to work with them, we must have the capacity to accommodate them. And that capacity is what this chapter is teaching us: how to employ our words, how to employ certain principles, like we talked about agreement frame, we talked about pattern interruption, how to use them to get what we want from people. All right. Another person around that wants to say something? Yes. Okay. Somebody has dropped off. Yes, it's network. Okay then. I'm sure there are no questions for me, no clarifications to be made, but I'm happy that you guys summarized what you read from there and the words I've used here too. Okay. I hope that you can put from beginning. The new week is starting tomorrow, Monday. Well, actually started today, but then the new one would say new week. That's about new business week. From tomorrow, people go to work. People go to who have their business will go to their businesses. Those who run their shops will go to their shops and stuff like that. So I am hoping that from tomorrow, you don't have to wait. From tomorrow, if there's any place you're having some challenge, you begin to apply the principle of agreement and the principle of pattern interruption to get what you want out of people. That way, the week will be a very successful one. And if at any point in time you have issues, you can always reach out. Okay, we can always reach out, we can always discuss, we can always call, we can always talk, we can always chat, so we can take things to the next level. All right, I'm still saying that's the third person. I don't know who it is, so, but please identify so I can greet you now. I've been talking about Oludare and Chukwu. I don't know the third person who is here. Somebody is here, but has not identified himself or herself. I don't know whether it's Chimo. I don't know if it's Dennis. I don't know if it's a Semiyu. I can't know that until you write something. Please use the live chat box and say something so I can actually know who you are. All the same, how do we? Let me ask a question now for those who are listening. Um, have you found yourself in any situation where you didn't get what you want because the other party got angry or got disappointed? That's a question I'm asking to every person here now. Have you found yourself in a situation where you didn't get what you want, but the other party, yeah, because the other party got angry or got disappointed? Okay, Dr. Semiyu, you're always coming towards the tail end of the program. We've been here since 36 minutes ago now. My time is running. So, but it's good to see you. I'm sure that you'll be able to watch this eventually when we upload it on the platform. Okay, but it's good to see you. So I asked a question now. Okay. Asadu says yes, he has had such experience. All right. I asked a question on if you have had an experience of not getting what you want because the other party was, you know, felt disappointed or was angry or something. Would you like to share? Oludare said yes too. Fine. Okay. Semiyu, I don't know what your experience has been. So would you like to share that? What was it that actually happened? Because the essence of these interactions is for us to also critically help one another to grow. Okay. If it's private, well, you can keep it private. But if it's something that you think you can get some information, some advice, from us, all of us put together. They say two good heads are better than one. Two good heads, so remember that one is qualified, not two heads. Okay, so as I do, if it's something you think you want to share with us, we'll be happy to be part of it. Oludare, the same thing. But if it's private, you don't want to share, no problem. We're not taking anybody to task on the matter. Okay, but they say a problem shared is actually half solved. But it depends anyway on what the problem is. Because if you have a money problem and you go to somebody who doesn't have money, you have converted the problem altogether. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Dr. Semi also has been in that kind of situation, but he knows better now. Fine. I am happy that the chapter has created some impact and that the book is also making some impact in our lives. Okay, but I would like to actually share. I mean, for you to share if you agree on what those experiences were like. Can make it short, not a long story, just brief points, 1, 2, 3. This happened. A matter of 2, 3, 4 minutes can do all the typing, and then we'll read it and then we can offer opinions. But like I said, if it's private and you don't want to discuss it in public place, no stress. Okay, no stress. So let me allow some room for that to happen. Okay. Dr. Semiyu, Dr. Ludari, and Mr. Sadu. Somebody else is here as a fourth person now. I don't know who has joined as a fourth person that is in our midst. Please indicate if you are here now. I have 3 persons, but there's a fourth person because the radar here is showing 4 persons. But I cannot see faces from here. Okay, so who wants to share something about the experience with not getting what they want because somebody didn't get them well? I mean, didn't understand them. Who wants to share? I'm willing to listen. I mean, to read and offer an opinion. Yes, nobody wants to share. Okay. So, who is the fourth person that has joined us? I want to know. Okay. All right. I guess we will need to take it home now. The evening is well spent. Um, just spent about an hour here now, from about 5:18 or thereabouts to this time. Okay, Sami is saying something. Okay, yes. Most of us have experienced with some of our friends and relatives who usually misunderstand us because of the ways and manners we try to explain our situations to them. Okay, okay, okay. Oludare, I'm reading something like a conclusion. We didn't get the earlier gist because the colleague later told me he didn't believe what I did was real. So, what was it that you did? We have not told us. But Semiyu, yes, that's quite true. That's quite true. You do not really, you can't imagine how people out there, how they take you. For instance, a doctor of many years, consulting, they will think that all the money you have is for them, and they will not, they do not know why you cannot share the money, like they used to say, share the money. They will not understand that. So, but if you're able to you know, explain the things the way they are. For those who want to reason, they will reason, but many people will not agree. They won't reason with you along that line at all. So that's it. Every person, when it comes to money issues, people will naturally want to misunderstand you, no matter how much you try for them. There are persons who want you to give them that money that you want to spend on projects, maybe in the community, for instance. I've passed through that stage. For 4 years, I was the president of my community association, you know, president general, and I know what I passed through. We want to introduce a program, I mean, a project in the community, and people come meet you, oh, no, we don't need it here, by a village and stuff, and we would rather have the money so we can use it to trade or do something. But you find out that even when you give the money, even when you give the money, people don't use the money to do what they say they want to do. They will use it and go and drink. They'll go, some will use it and go and get new wives or new husbands, as the case may be. Okay, Dr. Kwedike is just reporting himself now. Okay, okay. Yeah, this I do to every evening. It's all right. Okay, so, oh, okay, 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 okay. Oludare, okay, okay, okay. Okay, your colleague did not believe that you meant that you wanted to purchase the land. Well, okay, well, I'm sure that another opportunity will come. I mean, these things are, when they say opportunity comes but once, no, it's not true. Opportunity will keep coming to you, but it's you that will need to respond. That's what they mean by once. Because when it comes shining, to you, you need to do a detailed study of what it is before you can actually take, and that's what they call risk assessment, before you can take an action, okay, to action on the opportunity. But if it goes, of course, another one will come. People have the opportunities in the past to do what they have not been able to do. When they missed it, when it comes to the second time, they're able to recognize it and then they can key into it. Okay. As I do, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Anger management is a big issue. Most people don't know how to manage anger, as a matter of fact. So, well, like my father taught me, and which I have also passed on to my children, if somebody gets you angry, before you open your mouth to say anything, count to 10. Not in a rush, not in a hurry. Count to 10. Start from 10. Let's say 10, 9, 8, 7. By the time you get to 1, that anger would have dissipated. Or if it has not dissipated, the volume of it, the force of it, the strength of it would have gone down. Because we spoil a lot of things with our words when we're angry. We spoil a lot of things with our words when we're angry. So that's why it's important that we learn how to manage anger. Anger management is actually a course that we study. They take a course in anger management. Okay, maybe we'll introduce that kind of course to members of the JTA book club eventually when it rolls out. Okay, so it's important that we know how to manage anger so that it does not lead us into creating further disharmony with those around us. Okay, so as I do, is that right? We have noted that. Dr. Kwenike, you came in a little bit late. No, well, yeah, because we're almost closing. So, but I'm sure you're picking the pieces here and there. I'm sure you watch the live event eventually when we post it on the platform later in this evening. But we have just finished discussing the rev up of chapter 15. And the two important things to go from there was the issue of the agreement frame, which we have said that you need to find a way to agree with people if you're working with them or if you need something with them. And the second one is about the pattern interruption, which we can also do for ourselves. We introduce some element of confusion into an already existing discussion in order to displace the pattern of thought of the person who is about resisting or actually resisting what it is you're presenting. So those two are very important. I'm sure you have read them in the chapter. I'm sure you also have made your summaries there. But like I said, it was a lively discussion, and you'll watch it eventually at by the time we post this. But if you have had it, I asked a question which others are actually answering right now. If you have had a situation where you missed something you ought to have gotten because the other party felt that either you were not sincere or felt disappointed or actually was resisting because of your manner of approach or the way you approached him or her. So that's what you see that our friends here are answering or giving information on what they have gone through. So if you've had such an experience, you can also share. Okay, it will be okay. That yeah, yes. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Semir, this is a great testimony. This is a great test. I hope you will do a video for us at the end of it so that you can capture these words that you just said here now. So you're already practicing what the book is teaching and getting people to get reconciled, want to judge their husband and wife. It's awesome. It's very amazing. And we love this kind of testimony. So as you practice and you use the principles in this book, remember to jot them down so that when you're going to do your video, what we call your video to a feedback video, 2 minutes feedback video, you include those specific principles that helped to resolve issues in the past for this period of reading this book. All right. So like we said, this is the second part of the book. The first part ended with chapter 13, or chapter 14. Second part is starting now, this chapter 15. And it's all about flexibility. There's nothing you can get in life if you're not flexible. If you're rigid, like I said the other day, about, for instance, myself, Okay, people have told me I'm rigid, but that was when I was very actively engaged because I didn't have room. I didn't have room for any of those nonsense talks. I wasn't part of the, well, anyway, I'm writing my story, so one day I'm sure you will get to buy the book and read. But I didn't really have the patience to indulge in idle talk, to indulge in gossip and all those stuff. And guys don't like you if you don't want to sit in a beer parlor and discuss all those stuff. It wasn't part of me. It's still not part of me. Okay, but as the years have, as I'm catching along with the years, I've also decided to be dropping some of those things alongside. I mean, nobody's going to carry this out of this one. So it's better when you're going home, you go home without any encumbrances. So it's important that we learn to handle ourselves as we get along. All right, so I'm happy about this, Dr. Semio, this testimony you just gave. Please note it so that you can share with us when you're doing your feedback video for us to publish. We would like to do that eventually. Yeah, Dr. Alagbe, yes, of course it's very painful for one to miss something like he wanted to get because the other person did not understand. But then, like I said, another opportunity will come if it has not come already. So it means that you have to be prepared. So you communicate well. Peradventure, maybe you did communicate well if your colleague didn't understand you without what you actually wanted. Maybe you did communicate well with him. Or maybe if it was money issue, maybe you did, like I said, maybe you did communicate effectively. Effective communication means that you're speaking to somebody, you're stating the facts as you have them, and the person is understanding you. That's effective communication. And you need to apply, and we have said that an effective communicator is somebody who is able to apply these principles in this book we're reading now to his own advantage. All right, all the meta programming we have discussed, all the shifts that were discussed, and all that, you need to apply them in the discussion. I mean, in communicating with whoever it is. So, okay. Dr. Kwedik, yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Exactly. Exactly. So, irrespective of our differences and idiosyncrasies, of course, all of us have it. Like I said, we're all egotistic persons. All human beings are egotistic, no matter what anybody says. But then the ego depends on how we exhibit our ego. Some people are so egotistic that it's all about them. They are the ones that sort by self. Remember yesterday's meta programming. Okay, they're the ones that sort by self. They're so selfish that it's all about them. Anything they're doing is, hey, how, what? There's that popular FM now. Remember the FM, WIIFM. What is in it for me? Is a very popular FM, employed and engaged in by most people who sort by self. And those are highly egotistic persons. But then there are some people who, yes, they have the ego, but they downplay their ego in order to go along or to get along with people. Because if you don't downplay your ego and you keep your shoulders very high, which is good, but what will be the outcome? What will be the outcome? It's good to have to walk with high shoulders. Yes, as a person, I practice it. But you can only do that when you are just on your own. You don't need. You are like a hermit crab. You're living your own life. Your head is buried in the sand, like the ostrich. So you have your hole somewhere. If you are going to work with people, yes, maintain your integrity. Yes, maintain your ego, but apply wisdom. Like we're talking about frame. I mean the agreement frame. Apply wisdom. Know when to dance along to get what you want. And then know when to say, no, it's not for me. I don't want it. Those two are very important. You must know when. You must find the midway to assuage an anger-laden person and to carry along a happy person at the same time. So these are very important. All right. Okay, so Kwedige, you have any experience of having missed out something, we also like to hear from you. At least Dr. Semi has given us a very great testimony here. Dr. Alagbe has also given some information, and I responded to that. Ebuka has given something about anger, anger issues of a colleague, which I've also mentioned. There's a need for us to know how to manage our anger. Like I said, anger management is actually a course. Some institutions outside Nigeria will learn psychology and anger management. All right. So, Ekwedike, you have any such experience you want to share with us so we can offer some opinion? Otherwise, like I said, if it's private, then you don't need to bother yourself. But if it's something you want to share, I want us to actually be part of the discussion, we will oblige you. Okay? So we still have some time, some minutes to go to hour or something. Yeah, some minutes to go. So Ekwedike, are you still there? All right. Who is around again? Oludare, are you there? Semiyu, Chukwebuka. Somebody's gone off now. I'm seeing 3 persons here now. All the same. It's all right. Okay. Okay, Semiyu, thank you. Thank you for being there. Sunday, we try to do this program by 5 o'clock. For weekdays, we try to do it by 7 o'clock. So, yes, okay. Yes, you posted something. I've read it now. I've read it, talking about how to manage people's idiosyncrasies by the way we react with them. To react to them, which is the major essence of the book. We're talking about if you have had any experience, Dr. Ekwedike, if you have had any experience of losing something, missing out on something because the other party did not understand you, or because you didn't communicate well, okay? So the person doesn't understand you, and the person feels disappointed. That's what we're trying to get from you. But if you have not had such experience, there's no problem. Or if you have had, but you don't want to make it public again, there's also no problem about it. All right. So I thought we're through with this. Okay, second one. Okay, what was that? Let me scroll up and see. PDK reporting. Good evening. Yes. You just greeted us, and then you now wrote this. The chapter is as interesting as other chapters, but more importantly, it positively on how on how we should conduct ourselves to get a lot of people, irrespective of difference and the secrets. Those two things are written here. Unless you did that in unless you did it on the comment section. No, this is a live presentation, so it's only the live chat. You cannot read comments right now. But after the video, after the live, then the comments will become active. So if you are commenting right now, we cannot read the comment. We can only read what is on the live chat, which you have just written now. So, but it's okay. We have not seen anything again from by you, but it's all right. We'll take it from there. All right. Okay, so the chapter 14 is that I sent out this early morning is actually personal. You don't need to reply to me. It's like I said, it's work in progress. This is something that we want you to get engaged in and keep doing it. Remember that chapter 10, we say you should take at least 10 days to practice the principle of healthy living as enunciated in chapter 10. I don't know how many of you are doing it. Remember the things we said there, what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, about exercise, about changing your physiology. These are things that we said you should try and do over 10 days. I gave you an assignment, is it chapter 8 or thereabouts? So you should take 21 days before we get back. I hope you're following this thing because at the end of 21 days, I'm also keeping my tabs. I will ask for the reply, the response to that. So yesterday is yours, is personal. You work at it and keep improving on daily basis. Today I'm going to look at it and I'll send it again later after this presentation. All right. So if you have any questions, you can ask now or you can send me a WhatsApp message when you receive the questions. I mean the assignment. Okay. All right, then let me thank all of you for coming on board, coming up around this evening for this discussion. It's been awesome. It's been a great one. Okay, and I'm happy that we have quite a number of you here today, and I'm happy that those who are dedicated and committed to this program are actually the ones that are participating. Like I said, I said to make this program, this edition, to be for just about 10 persons. But you can see now that even of the 10 persons, each time I call for a meeting like this, I get between 4 and 5. Okay, I mean, which is also impressive because usually statistics show that if you invite 10 persons to do something for you, only 1% will actually do that thing. That's what statistics. But if I have 4/10, it's not in medicine. I think it's a pass mark. Okay, no, 50 is the pass mark. Okay, but it's all right. We're not doing badly. 4, 5. So it's varying between 4 and 6 of the people I have on the platform. But I don't understand what anybody will be doing in a book reading challenge if the person is not reading the book, is not participating in the discussions. I've sent messages to them and they'll get back to me and say, sorry, sir, please leave us, allow us. Allow us, we'll not be able to participate, but please allow, we enjoy the talks and all that. Well, so that's why I've not removed anybody that is on the platform. But we're hoping that the next one will be like this eventually. Yeah, that one, we're working on it before the end of the month to bring out the advert, the announcement for it, and hope that you guys will also join up for that. We're hoping that we'll make it the last for the year, 2020, because I'm sure it's going to stretch between November and December. I'm not yet too certain, but I'm working on it to get the book that will take us at least 30 to 40 days to read the study. All right. So thank you so much for your time. We need to go home now. It's after 6. Yeah, it's after 6. So have a nice evening and then sleep well too when you go get to your bed. And remember to pray for Nigeria. All right. So thank you again. I'm going to shut down the presentation and then compile it and send to the WhatsApp platform so that people can watch, and those who didn't join us early can also watch the beginning of the discussions. Thank you so much. NEPA is always intervening, interjecting into our program. But it's okay. It's okay then. Have a nice night, everyone.